Good morning, guys. Welcome to this Wednesday, June 10th. And we're looking at the market, which is heading lower, slowly grinding back to the downside. Um, the situation in the Middle East is deteriorating. I think that's what's leading on it. Oil hasn't really spiked above 90, though. So I think I must guess if it's just that or if there's something else maybe brewing. The news this morning, we do have the CPI number come out. We have mortgage apps came out at 7. They were better than expected. CPI coming out at 8:30. We have an oil report at 10:30 and a 10-year auction at 1. That's about it. So that's pretty much what's going on. I think the CPI number is pretty much it in terms of news to drive the market. We'll see if that comes out harder than expected. Chances are it will. Well, at least maybe in line because they do revise up the expectation as well. But it definitely oil prices, but it's going to be driving inflation or energy inflation for sure. Looking at this right now, so CPI at 8:30. Other than that, not much news to drive the market. And I think the next driver would be the Iran situation because it seems very much like that's going to deteriorate into even more shooting. There was some post this morning about running out of patience, so we will find out. But it's you can see here that we had a stall day yesterday. We probed pretty good to the downside. That was yesterday's trading, and then we reversed. Pretty good. We were trading up here, ran it down here. We closed kind of in the middle of this range. Now we have kind of drifting lower. So we're down below this key support there at the 73.40s, and we are pointed lower. So with this overnight, I would just stay on the short side. I would just look to sell strength for rotations. Yeah, look to sell strength for rotations back down. And if they can trade up above that 73.70, then we are back up in this upper range again. But right now, just look to sell strength against the 73.45s, the 55s, 70s for rotations back down. I think the last one may be 73.90 before we may have to shift our bias, but take off the short bias. But right now, that's kind of what I'm looking at. So overall weakness, not seeing any snapback rallies right now. We had one snapback rally the other day, which was pretty substantial, but it obviously that doesn't really make a huge difference at this point. So overall, market is heading lower. Look to sell strength for rotations back up. We are in the move out of the middle to the downside right now, as you can see on the F1. And this area here is the area. This area right here, 73 to 35 to 45. They're below it now. That's my first marker for changing direction on the capital flow. And the next level down will be the 71.90. That comes out, bets are off. We are definitely back. We are in a down market or heading lower at that point. I wouldn't call it the bear market, but a correction at that point. So this whole low volume area is an area where they start shifting that shift in capital flow becomes permanent in more of a downturn fashion than just a pullback from the highs. So that's where we start. The rainy situation probably is going to drive the market lower. It's going to be some knee-jerk reaction to it on the downside. So definitely not helping. I think the only positive thing we really have is the SpaceX IPO coming out. Not in the ideal time to do that, I guess. So we'll see if that thing flies. But they could potentially get some action going on the Nasdaq, but definitely create a lot of volatility, that's for sure. So we'll see. Right now, we're looking at selling strength. And as I said, against the 73.35s, 45s, 55s, up to the 70s for rotations down. Last one would be the 73.90s. Not going to be aggressive on buying these lower areas. It's not a very strong buying opportunities. So staying away from the long side right now. Same as when the market is trading higher. There is buying opportunities on the way down. They can just treat those as scalping buys. So you're retesting a low or you're stalling for a bit. You have a short little upswing. Those are definitely tradable. But I would keep my stop tight. And if you're wrong, just get out of it. You don't want to get stuck on a leg lower, if you know what I mean. So that's the ES to get started. Looking at the NASDAQ, also heading lower, not looking too pretty. There you go. The NASDAQ is heading down here towards that three-letter ledge, the 28,500. And if that comes out, so all bets are off. We have a big low volume area here to retrace, and that could take us all the way down here to a breakout point at 26. And that would be a pretty good correction if that happens. So we're starting at 30,800, I believe. And so 30,000, we already done 2,000 points. So that's like 6-7%. So another 6-7% would take us down to the 26s. So maybe 10-15% correction, it will take us down there. That would be ugly, but you know, that's just if you can manage, if you can trade stuff like that, fine. If you know have enough guts to sell a chunk of your assets and then try to buy them back. A lot of people, that timing is impossible. So it's just you just to be missing it left and right. But on the future side, we can certainly trade it. And right now we are staying on the short side. So we're going to sell strength on the NASDAQ against that 28,730s, the 780s, 840s, 930s, 29,000s for rotations back down. 29,000s is going to be pretty much back at where we started. If they can get up above that, the 800s, maybe we have a shot at staying in this upper range. I mean, we're not quite there where we have taken out this three-letter ledge right now, but they're still in this bigger distribution, trending at the lower end of it. So, but I would look to sell strength still for rotations down. It feels very much like the overnight is weak, and we may see further weakness. Now, if the support holds here at the 540s, so the support area here about 560s on my end, but this general area down here, if that holds, we may have a shot at trading back up again. But I'm not going to count on that from the get-go. Let's see how that whole thing develops. So I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive on the NASDAQ. If you take out the London high on the NASDAQ, I'm going to take off the short bias and go back range bound. Because NASDAQ is already trading in a range. They're already trading in this big chunky distribution right here, okay? So they're already trading there. The ES doesn't quite have that same scenario. So the ES, just for comparison, has taken out that low, right? This is the ES. They've taken out that low and they're down in this low volume area. So that's why I'm leaning short in a bigger way on the ES than on the NASDAQ right now. But we'll see. It can catch up pretty quick, you know. So we're going to sell strength on the NASDAQ right now to get started, and let's see how far they want to take it. It's been crazy volatile, so I don't know if we'll see if there are opportunities to trade today or not. But as I said, I'm just going to be cautious about it until I see something stabilizing here. The whole volatility thing slowing down a little bit. All right, so that's the ES, that's the NASDAQ. On the way buying on the buying side of NASDAQ, there is an opportunity down here at the support area at the 560. That ledge, three-letter ledge, could be an area of support. That then matches the F1 as well. Now it looks like we have another edge potentially building right there at the A600s. We'll see how that holds up going into the afternoon. But right now, buying against this on the NASDAQ F1. So this is the NASDAQ F. Buying against that three-letter ledge could still be an opportunity. So I would look for that, but not very aggressively. Right? The ES has taken out that level, so that's not an option there anymore. And then finally, on the bond side of things, bond market just twisting in the wind, not going anywhere, not moving, doing a whole lot. So I haven't done it much on this guy at all. So this just trade this as a range band market. Look to sell strength 1126, while 112s. Look to buy weakness 1116 to 18, 1114s, down to 1104s. And we'll see how this how this whole thing shakes out. Now, pretty tight range. If they start taking out the 112s, maybe try a long trade. We'll see how far they want to take it on the upside. if they start taking out the 11-12s, maybe try a short trade and see how far they want to take it. But I haven't been very aggressive. Bond seems to be set up very nicely for the way I'm looking for it. So the time it has done it has been kind of on the late in the afternoon, which kind of when the market dies off, which is more a function of the market dying off than resistance holding. You know what I mean? So back to the cryptos, or about taking a quick look at the cryptos. Here is silver. You got gold. Here's the oil popping a little bit from the 87 to 89. We'll see how that goes. I'm gonna watch oil today to see how that shakeout is on the how it's going in the Iranian situation. Alrighty, guys, back to the ES and the Nasdaq. So if I do any trades on the cryptos, I'll let you know. But this is silver, gold, and the oil on the left side, and it's Ethereum and Bitcoin futures on the right hand side here. I haven't taken any trades on those today. Now looking at the back to the ES and the Nasdaq, and that's pretty much where we left them. So starting on the short side on the ES and the Nasdaq, looking to sell strength for rotations up. Sorry, for rotations down. Looking to sell strength for rotations down again, not down. So that's kind of how we get started. And then let's see how this whole thing develops as the session kicks in. Alrighty, guys, we'll leave it there. I'll see you back at 11:30 for the next update. Good trading, and I'll see you guys back then.